evening on the World News Tonight from Baba Bagede Imo Television. First, the headlines. Why Tinubu should implement Owei's reports, ex-INEC commissioner. Reps filmed as agency spent 81 billion naira to plant 21 million trees in the north. Nigerian army sends strong warning to soldiers plotting to overthrow the government. Keyamo Alt Nigeria Air Project reverses concessions of airports. Naira continues free fall as NNPC Afrimix $3 billion loan deal drags. And on sport, Nigerian players likely to move on transfer deadline day. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. The news shortly. A former National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Adele Jinadu, has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to implement the Justice Owei's report for better electioneering in the country. He made the call Tuesday in Abuja at the annual Professor Abubakar Momo Memorial Lecture with the theme, the 2023 General Election, Lessons Learned in Preparation for Kogi, Bayelsa and Imo States off-cycle governorship elections. Late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua had on August 28, 2007, instituted a 22-member electoral review committee headed by late Justice Lawal Owei to critically examine the electoral process and advise on the areas that require reforms. On completion of their assignment, the Owei committee submitted its report to the late president, but the federal government did not implement most of its recommendations. However, Janadu, who is also a member of the Governing Council, TEI, noted that the operational deployment of officials, materials, and logistics for the elections has remained recurrent problematic, features diminishing the credibility of the electoral governance. The FG should adopt a strategic plan divided into short to medium term, covering the 2023-2027 electoral cycle to pursue, among other political reforms, outstanding electoral reforms recommended by the Owei's Electoral Reform Committee, Jinadu said. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the utilization of ecological funds and other intervention funds of the Great Green Wall project on Wednesday queried claims by the National Agency for Great Green Wall, NAGGW, that it spent 81 billion naira to plant 21 million trees in the frontline states in the north. The states are Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno. The Director General Yusuf Maina Bukar told the committee that the agency spent the money on renovation of office accommodation and 11.28 billion naira on capital project. He said the main funding of the agency was from 15% of the ecological fund and the federal allocation, as well as other sources for its operations. The committee also quizzed the Central Bank of Nigeria over 7 accounts domiciled in the Apex Bank. A 6-page document dated 22nd August 2023, submitted by the CBN, showed that the huge sum of money was domiciled in the account agencies from 2015 to date. The Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Medin, represented by Deputy Director Irene Unwago, said the NAGWW had received a total of 19 million naira from the derivation and ecology account from February 2019 to date. In addition, the agency also received 11.023 billion naira as capital expenditure through the OAGF. Unwago said former President Muhammad Buhari approved the release of 2.309 billion naira to the agency as 2020 statutory 5% ecological fund. The chairman of the committee, Ismaila Aruna Dabo, and members complained that the committee spent monies without commensurate results. The committee also said the agency deviated from its core mandate. He said projects such as the Great Green Wall under investigation were designed primarily to address some of these issues. The persistence of these challenges despite funds put into the program from both the federal government and international partners, has necessitated this investigation. In recent years, we have witnessed a significant upsurge in natural environmental challenges such as land degradation, deforestation, desertification, and drought, which most times are explained away with the context of climate change. As regards the coup going on from one African country to the other, the Nigerian army has sent a note of warning to soldiers that may be plotting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu's government in a coup. The General Officer commanding GOC 81 Division Nigeria Army, Major General Mohammed Takuti Usman, gave the charge on Wednesday, August 30th, warning that the Nigerian armed force would not condone any form of disloyalty. Speaking while addressing soldiers at the 35 Artillery Brigade, Alamala, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Usman stated that their loyalty must be to the president first and then down to the ladder, to the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, and to the brigade commander. The Army Chief warned that there is no room for any form of disloyalty within the Nigerian military, and those who can be loyal are free to resign for other works. The information understands that the warning comes amid the military coup spreading across African countries, which Gabon being the latest on Wednesday. Flanked by the Commander 35 Artillery Brigade, Brigadier General Mohammed Tajuddin Aminu, Major General Usman said, while the military authorities know there are challenges, they are not peculiar to the brigade command, and efforts are in top gear to tackle them. The officer charged the soldiers to always display discipline, loyalty, and top professionalism. The GOC commissioned a quarter guard project at the barrack during his visit, noting that Nigeria wouldn't be a safe place if there were no soldiers in the country. Going on to the next story from Aviation. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo San has suspended airport concession and national carrier. Information report that both airport concession and national were major projects under the aviation roadmap implemented by the immediate past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. But speaking during a tour of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, his first tour of the busiest airport in Nigeria since his appointment, Keyamo said the concession and national carrier will be on hold until further notice. The two projects became controversial following the approval a few days before the expiration of the former government. Barely a week to the end of the last administration, the federal government announced that it has successfully concessioned the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The then Special Assistant on Public Affairs to the Minister of Aviation, James Odaudu, stated that the concessioning was approved by the Federal Executive Council. It is disclosed that the Corporation American Airport Consortium emerged as the preferred bidder, which comprises the Corporation American Airport, Motor Angel Africa, and Motor Angel Nigeria. Furthermore, the Corporation American Airport Consortium will make profits upfront payment of $7 million for NAIA and $1.5 million for MAKIA. Also, Nigeria Air was equally mad in controversy following what was said to be a shadow launch on May 26th, just 72 hours to the end of the administration of President Buhari. The launch came as a shock to many observers and players in the sector, as the airline Christian Nigeria Air was yet to receive the Air Operator's Certificate (AOC) to commence commercial operation. At the time of the controversial launch, the order of the Federal High Court in Lagos stopping the takeoff of the national carrier following a suit filed by the Airline Operators of Nigeria (AON). AON was and is still subsisting. The minister also disclosed that the old terminal of the airport will be shut on October 4th for a total repair. He directed foreign airlines to relocate to the new terminal latest by October 1st, when the whole terminal will be shut down for total rehabilitation. And to the next story. There are growing concerns that the much celebrated $3 billion emergency loan from the African Export-Import Bank to stabilize the country's volatile region exchange market by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, is foot-dragging, leading to the continuous free fall of the naira to the dollar. Information findings shows that the Central Bank of Nigeria gross reserves have not seen any accretion and are down 0.2% to 33.68 billion US dollar since the announcement was made on August 16th. The announcement 2 weeks ago was embraced as a relief in the forex market as the naira appreciated at both the official investors and exporters i.e. forex window and the parallel market. A significant upswing was observed in the parallel market as the nation's currency strengthened from 940 naira per dollar the previous day to 880 naira per dollar, reflecting a substantial increase of 60 naira. On the other hand, at the official I&E window, the nation started off with an opening rate of 774 naira per dollar, but appreciated to 759 naira per dollar at the close of the market the following announcement. New findings by information suggested that the $3 billion crude repayment loan is dragging because other lenders that were supposed to be a part of the syndicated transaction are said to have backed out, a source revealed. The source said Afrimix was supposed to put down only $250 million, which was to help bring aboard other lenders who are already heavily exposed to Nigeria and have obligor limits. The West African region already accounted for 45% of loans from the Afrimix Bank as of the first quarter of 2023, according to data from its finances. There is no mention of the deal on Afrimix Bank's website, a source said, which also revealed from the search. Information also said that the Afrimix press to be furnished with the details of the transaction was not responded by or to by the institution. Another mail to the Afrimix press office to confirm or debunk the alleged stalled transaction was also not responded to at the time of the press time. However, a management source at the NNPCL in a short response to information, discussions are still ongoing. Meanwhile, the naira continued to weaken against the US dollar on the official market as the naira opened at 769 naira per dollar and closed at 775 naira per dollar on Tuesday. A robust demand for the dollar kept the naira on a decline as it exchanged for 920 to 925 naira to a dollar in the black market. Dealers acquire from willing sellers at 915 naira per dollar and sell to willing sellers at 920 naira per dollar. Moving on to the next story. The suspended chairman of Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State, Wale Adebayo, has vowed to challenge his suspension by the councillors of the local government democratically. 7 councillors of the local government, led by their leader, Fasheyi Adesuji, from Itele Ward 7, had amid tight security on Thursday morning suspended the embattled council boss for 3 months over what is described as maladministration and physical mismanagement. The lawmakers had listed about 15 financial infractions against the LG boss, including using 8.2 million naira to procure 20 tables and chairs for the primary schools, as well as misappropriation of 35 million naira, among others. Adedayo has, however, described its purported suspension as a hoax and one that was forced down on the throat of the lawmakers, having been allegedly baited with 1 million naira. He said the suspension or impeachment of a local government chairman ought to follow due process. The first stage is a letter to me about the so-called infractions. Of course, they stormed the council secretariat with more than 100 armed policemen this morning, along with thugs and outbearers. They think we were going to react violently as they had prepared. We are in a democracy. We will challenge them democratically. All the allegations are baseless and without foundation. They forcefully marched the clerk of the house to Abeokuta yesterday, along with the local government Olga. So we knew what the governor was up to before the parade of this morning. 2 of the councillors were led to the council at gunpoint, and immediately they finished, all of them were taken in a vehicle to Abeokuta. Of course, I was told that 1 million naira was given to each person who signed. We are not bothered. Once the EFCC comes, the books of the local governments can be also open for them to see, the statement concluded. Moving on to Lagos State. A 30-year-old man, Victor Chiwendu, was on Wednesday arraigned before an Isolo Magistrate Court in Lagos for allegedly stabbing one Justice Mba with a knife. The State Police Command arraigned Chiwendu on 3 counts of assault occasionally, bodily harm, and attempted murder. The prosecutor, Ojie Ubale, said the defendant committed the offense at number 38 Apostolic Street, Agor Okota, on August 29, 2023 at around 8:30 p.m. He said the action is considered an offense under Section 170 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015. The charges read in part that you, Victor Chiwendu, attempted to unlawfully kill one Justice Mba by stabbing him in the back with a knife, which is likely endanger his life, and thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 230 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015. However, the defendant pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. The magistrate A. Kohia granted him bail and a sum of 500,000 with 2 sureties and ordered that he remain in Kirikiri Custodial Center until the bail conditions were met. From Lagos State, we'll go to the next story. Borno State Police Command has arrested a husband, Mustafa Mohammed, and his wife for stabbing a co-wife to death in Maiduguri, the state capital. A statement issued on Thursday by the Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO, Sani Kamilu Shitabaya, which was obtained by a correspondent. It was disclosed that the arrested husband, Mustafa Mohammed, had accused his wife, one Bintu Mustafa, of an alleged extramarital affair with her ex-boyfriend. On the same date, the said wife was found stabbed with a knife lying unconscious in a pool of blood in her room. He said on receipt of the information, a team of policemen led by the Divisional Police Officer, DPO, moved to the scene where the said husband and co-wife were seen trying to wash off the blood to erase evidence. Shantumbaya said the statement is in contrast to the fake news going round the town propagated by some mischievous and unpatriotic element that some group of gangsters entered a dwelling house of Agilari Cruz Bulunkutu with the intent to steal housewife's phone and stab her to death in the process. He said the command discounted a fake rumor and set the record straight by stating the true situation of the incident. The PPRO said on 25th of August 2023 at about 10 p.m. based on credible information, the police tactical team arrested one Mustafa Mohammed, male adult of Agilari Cross Bulunkutu Maiduguri, who accused his wife, one Bintu Mustafa, over an alleged extramarital affair with her ex-boyfriend. On the same day, the wife was found with the aforementioned information. Consequently, the husband Mustafa Mohammed and the co-wife, Musa, both of the same address, were arrested. The suspect confessed stabbing his wife to death. Case transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for discreet investigation and diligent prosecution. Suspect confessed to the crime. Owners of the stolen items are sufficient for claim of ownership. Suspect will soon be charged to court for prosecution. From that story from Borno State, we'll go to the next forest story within Africa. People in the Central Africa state of Gabon are waiting a stare on the future on Thursday after rebel army officers brought the curtain down on 55 years of rule by the Bongo family. President Ali Bongo Odinga, whose father Omar had ruled for more than 4 decades, was stopped on Wednesday, moments after being declared outright winner in bitterly disputed elections. Amid scenes of joy in the oil-rich state, the coup leaders named the head of the elite Republican Guard, General Brice Oligui Nguema, as Gabon's transitional president. They also restored internet access and broadcast by 3 influential French media that had been cut off by Bongo's government on Saturday evening. But they kept a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew to maintain calm and serenity, and Gabon's borders remain closed. The Gabonese public and the international community are eager to know how long military rule will last and how to return to civilian governance will unfold. 5 other countries in Africa, Mali, Guinea, Sudan, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have undergone coup in the last 3 years, with their new rulers resisting demands for a short timetable for returning to barracks. Another question is the future of Bongo himself, and the United Nations and China are among those that have demanded guarantees for his safety. After decades as a man with a playable image, Bongo was elected in 2009 following the death of his father, who repeatedly amassed a fortune from Gabon's oil wealth. In 2016, he was re-elected, again in fiercely disputed conditions, before suffering a stroke in 2018 that weakened his grip on power. The coup leaders declared on Wednesday that Bongo had put under arrest house and placed on retirement. But during those tumultuous forced hours, Bongo was able to release a video in which he appealed to all friends that are all over the world to make noise on his behalf. His son and close advisor, Nuruddin Bongo Valentine, his chief of staff, Ian Gislin Ungolo, his deputy, two other presidential advisors, and the two top officials in the ruling Gabonese Democratic Party, PDG, have been arrested, a military leader said. They are accused of treason, embezzlement, corruption, and falsifying the president's signature, among other allegations, he said. Still on the foreign, the Rwanda Defense Force has retired 12 generals and others in a move to reshuffle the military, while Cameroon's President Paul Biya has made changes to the Central African country's Ministry of Defense. Both moves are coming in the wake of the Gabon coup, the latest in a series of military takeovers in Africa. A Wednesday statement by the RDF said President Paul Kagame has retired 83 military personnel, including 12 generals. They include General James Kabarabi, General Fred Imbigira, Lieutenant General Charles Kayonga, Lieutenant General Frank Mushoyo Kamenzi, Major General Martin Inzarambe, Major General Eric Murokore, Major General Augustin Turagara, Major General Charles Karamba, Major General Albert Musasira, Brigadier General Chris Morari, Brigadier General Dick Indahiro, Brigadier General Emmanuel Indahiro. Today, the CDS RDF Lieutenant General M. Muganga held meetings with the E.A. Azar Al-Katani, Ambassador of UAE to Rwanda, and Colonel J.E. Acho, Defense Attaché of Cameroon. They discussed ways to enhance defense cooperation between their respective countries. Kagame also approved the promotion and appointment of some officers to replace them, RDF added. The moves take immediate effect. The Rwandan president, who has been in power since 2000, is one of the continent's longest-serving leaders. A 2015 amendment to the country's constitution means he can stay in power until 2034. Rwanda's Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, Lieutenant General M. Muganga, also held meetings with H.E. Azar Aktani, Ambassador of UAE to Rwanda, and Colonel J.E. Acho, Defense Attaché of Cameroon. They discussed ways to enhance defense cooperation between the respective countries, like said earlier. And to the sports scene. As the summer transfer window comes to a close, a handful of Nigerian players are expected to switch clubs to get more playing time, among others. Already, there are a number of Nigerian players who have made a move this season, with Kevin Bassin joining Fulham, Olaino joining Nottingham Forest from Torino, and Victor Boniface joining German side Bayer Leverkusen. That said, here are Nigerian players who could make a move before the end of the transfer window. Leicester City forward Kelechi Iheanacho is expected to return to the Premier League before the end of the transfer window. The 26-year-old is keen on a move to Crystal Palace, although his €18 million price tag at Leicester City could stall a move. Iheanacho joined the Foxes from Manchester City in 2017 and has scored 56 goals in 210 appearances for the club. He has appeared 4 times for Leicester this season in the Championship after the club were relegated at the end of the 2022-2023 season. With that sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. Why Tinubu should implement Uwais report, ex-INEC commissioner. Reps film as agency spent 81 billion naira to plant 21 million trees in the north. Nigerian army sends strong warnings to soldiers plotting to overthrow government. We also brought to you Keyamo Alt's Nigeria Air project reverses concession of airports. Naira continues free fall as NNPC Afrexim $3 billion loan deal drags. That ends the world news. Before we go, as you expect more of our broadcasts on YouTube, our handle is Baba Gbagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Gbagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Fabila Lawa. Good evening.